Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the Gaming Fuse. Yes, that is right. Here we are in episode number 2. Yeah, man, let's feed your addiction right here. Gaming Fuse, episode number 2. Boom, boom, kaboom. It's Snoop Nukem in the room. Sorry, just a little bit off of sync, so to speak. Still having computer issues. Got to figure out what's going on, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks, maybe I'm able to upgrade to a new PC or something, and that can actually handle more than one screen open at a time. This is absolutely brutal. But without any further ado, want to get this show on the road. Going to bring in our amazing panel member. You know him. I'm not going to say it. It's for him to say it this time around, but you know the man. We call him Titan. Some people call him Drago. It doesn't really matter. We know how he rolls. Here he is, Titan Drago.
That's right. We're going to bring the common back to sense today, Noof. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a big show. It was a very busy weekend. And I think if you're an Xbox fan, you have reason to finally be excited. Loved what I saw, but we're going to find out opinions. And now making his world premiere. First time ever on my podcast, and a tentative panel member. And the reason I'm saying tentative, because, you know, we discussed this before we introduced him, that it's up to him if he wants to continue to be here. Like, it's a feeling out process. He says he's game. We're going to find out. He is a Canadian, hailing all the way from, British Columbia. He may now be a little closer to me, but I know him as Mike. On Twitter, you know him as Mental9R. He's been following the show for quite some time. So here he is in the flesh, Dr. Robotnik.
All right. Looking forward to it. Dr. Robotic, eh? Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to it, guys. Yeah, no doubt, eh? No doubt.
Man, it's hard to believe. Like I said, here we are. Episode number 2. Welcome aboard, Mental9R. That's how I remember pronouncing that shit right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's perfect.
All right. Mental9R it is, guys. Another Canadian on the panel, eh? We're in a boot to have some fun up in here.
How's it going, eh?
Oh.
Just aged myself a bunch there.
Yeah. It's funny, all these stereotypes that we have about Canada, and while there is some truth to it, the majority of them are not true at all. But yes, we do apologize for a lot of things. We
do say sorry a lot. That I'll give you, for sure.
Yeah. Pretty polite bunch up here.
Yeah. I'm really sorry about that, by the way.
We are sorry about that. Let's catch up with the panel, let's catch up with the chat real quick. We got some amazing people here as always, including our number one supporter of the show, Mr. Doggy Dog 420 is in the house. What is going on? Doggy Dog, good to see you here. We got our good friend Your Wicked Hots in the building. Timmy is here. We got Nix. We got Princess Zelda hanging out with us right now. We have got our Rob. We got Curry Cosmos here. We got John 907 rolling in, and more. We also got our Talos Ray is in the building. Got to play a game with Talos Ray the other night. Had a great time. That's what I'm saying. I love this podcasting stuff because you meet so many great people in the community, and you get to play some games with them. Doggy Dog is the first super chat of the night, coming in at $1.99. I'm going to leave the honors to Titan.
Oh boy, I'm busy here. Good evening, new panel and chat. What's up, Doggy? Good to see you, buddy.
It is good to see you as well. Yes, like I said, super chat's not required, but they certainly are appreciated. We got our good friend of the show, Fastback from the NLG podcast, hanging out with Pang 911 is here as well. Good to see you, Pang. And we got who else?
Doggy was a part of that big time. Man, we had a really good freaking Xbox party the few nights ago, man. That was a blast.
We did.
More people need to get in on that, man. I've been party hopping a lot lately, especially with Diablo. I've been in some nights I'm in like 5 different parties, Noof. I'm just like looking for people that are my level. I just beat the game, and I unlocked the third world tier, so a lot of people looking for a lot of people on that same level to like advanced levels with and level up new characters. So
sure. Well, before we get right into the deep dive on the Xbox showcase, Mental9R, just kind of give us a little background on yourself. Hopefully keep it within like 5 minutes. Tell us, about your, where you're from, when you got into gaming, some of the kind of games you like to play, so people can get to know you a little better. Obviously, people know me and Titan from GAD, but let's get you acquainted with the chat.
Screw that new 5 seconds. Go. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I've been gaming for a long time. Going all the way back to Pong, I think, was my first introduction to gaming. My cousin's place back in the late 70s. But first console I actually owned myself was an Intellivision. For those that know what that is, right on. Good job. But yeah, and then after that, I got into more PC-centric stuff and was primarily a PC guy all the way up to the original Xbox. And that's when I started gaming more on console again. But yeah, about 30 some years with PC gaming and well over 20 on console too. So other than that, I'm an IT guy by trade. My passion for PC gaming launched a 30-year career for me in IT. So I've been doing that for a long time. Yeah, I learned a lot. Through the late 80s, early 90s, just making games work on PC was very tricky. It wasn't just download it in Steam and press play. Yeah, so no, it was good times.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. And when I talked to you before we brought you on to the show, that's one thing I learned about you very quickly is that you knew a lot of the ins and outs and the, a lot of the technical jargon that a lot of times for us laymen over here, it's good to know, and it's great that someone can, kind of delve into some of the hardware aspects that happen behind the scenes of making games and running it on certain hardware. So it's fantastic to have you here to kind of break it down. A lot of podcasts always seem to have that one or two guys that know that side of things a little better than the others. I know games. I know what I like and what I don't like. But when, you start talking about the teraflops and the, how the RAM processes and all these finer things. See, I'm already jargon, right? But it's good to have you here so you can break it down for people in the chat. So
yeah, we got to pick his brain a lot.
Happy to do it.
Well, it's good. He's got the Deadpool shirt on, so that's awesome. I think it's Deadpool you got rolling there, is it?
It is, yes, sir.
Look at that. Doesn't get any more Canadian than that than Saskatchewan, hero.
Why are all them people behind you pissing on that building? That's what I want to know.
Exactly. Well, that's why I picked that picture, right?
They're probably putting out the fires that are up here in Canada.
It's preventative maintenance, I think.
Love it.
Yeah, soaking it down.
Any particular console choice, and perhaps what is one of your favorite games of all time? Something you can go back to over and over again?
Oh, man. Well, I've got my Series X. I was a big PS4 guy. Like, I really loved my PS4. Made my way back to Xbox as the One X came out, actually. And I like the direction they're heading with the Play Anywhere, stuff like that. That just made, the ecosystem as a whole really good. If you'd asked me about favorite game a few years back, I'd have said Destiny. I played that thing religiously for about 6 years and neglected every other game that there was ever made during that period. Still playing catch up over that, but finally broke that addiction a couple years ago. Game
what
that
broke
I'd go
it
back
for
to.
You?
Who broke it? I actually broke it
it
myself. Oh, what broke it? The PvP experience. That was kind of what always kept me playing that game was, the monthly Iron Banner was my point of engagement. I'd go back to that every month. And it got to a point where pretty much every game was a mercy. And I just couldn't stand it anymore. I just found myself pissed off more than I was actually enjoying it. So I just decided it was time for me. I'm an older guy, obviously. I mean, look at the gray, right? But, I still try and be competitive at times. And when the reflexes aren't quite what they used to be, anytime the game acts up a bit, you really notice it. And yeah, so anyway, it is what it is.
Me and my buddy
but
Whiskey Mike, man, we always used to talk shit to each other about Smite because we would always say we're probably the two oldest Masters players in this game right now.
yeah, but I don't know. Quake 2 holds a special place in my heart for online gaming because that's when I really fell in love with it. Was Quake 2. Yeah, I played a ton of that. I actually ran some dedicated servers. I had 4 of them running that were consistently rated in the top 10 on the West Coast. Always busy 24/7. That was a lot of fun. I learned a lot doing that, and then I migrated over to Counter-Strike from there. I played a lot of CS back in those days. give me an AWP and a Desert Eagle and watch out. That was when the Twitch skills were still pretty good, but yeah, I had a lot of fun back then. Game that I always can go back to. That's a tough one for me. I always like going back to Halo, to be honest. Just played through that recently with my kids again. So it's fun now that they're getting into Halo. We play Halo Infinite together on the weekends.
Where do you stand at on like Battle Royale games? Are you into those or you stay away from those or what?
Yeah, I would say I probably would be classed as the stay away from them. And I'm not sure why. I think it's just the time commitment to actually get good at them. I like being able to hop in, play. That was the other thing with Destiny, the time commitment to actually keep your power level up or light level, whatever they're calling it these days, just to be able to compete in Iron Banner. It was just too much of a time sink. I couldn't do it anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I was so broke back in the days of the original Quake, so while my friends were playing that game, I was just eating Quaker oats.
There you go.
All right, we're on the clock, and we got a lot of topics to talk about, but we will come back, and we'll certainly, as weeks go along, we'll get to know you better, and hopefully, like I said, you'll feel right at home here and settle in. So, again, welcome, Mental 9R. Let's get into it. Xbox Showcase. I know Ubisoft had their stuff today, but I'm not even going to touch it. We will not have time to touch on that one. Maybe we'll come back next week, but we will talk about Xbox real quick. And I'm going to basically, we're going to single out each game, and we're going to a couple of sentences basically to pop it out. And we will start with you, Mental 9R. And I'm going to just kind of bring them up. I'm going to share the screen with everybody so that way we can kind of look at them all together. Just give me a second here. And we'll go that route. So we got a super chat first. Let's let Titan get that one out of the way. It comes in versus one of our new friends of the show, Angel Azrael 7. He drops a $5. Go ahead, Titan.
Yeah, great work, dudes. Hyped to see you back and hear your thoughts on the showcases. Yeah, good. We got some good and bad. We're gonna have it all, man. I'm glad you're tuning in. Good to see you, buddy, and thanks for the super chat.
All righty. So let's pull up a screen. Let's see here. Share the screen. Let's just bring it up here. Alrighty, here we go. So there we go. We got this up on the screen here. Just going to make it a full screen. Get our ugly mugs off. All right, here we go. Let's get right down into it here. So first game we're going to talk about, we'll kind of start from the bottom and work our way back till we get to, obviously, the big one, which is a deep dive. But the first one we're going to talk about, Jusant. Now, that was that one that had the, kind of looked like the Legend of Zelda, and it's the one that comes from Don't Nod. And it's also, I think, due for 2024. What do you think of that with Mental 9R? Interesting take from Don't Nod, considering they're normally doing this story narrative stuff, and now they're taking an action-adventure Zelda-like platformer. I was getting vibes of Ico. How about you?
For me, I mean, overall, I thought the game looked interesting. Not really my art style, to be perfectly honest, but I did like the fact that they put an actual little notice in there that said that the quality isn't final. So there may be some improvements there in the overall visuals of it, but the platforming definitely looked interesting to me. So might be something I give a quick try. I think my daughter will love it, though.
Titan, Jusant, what do you think?
Real quick, Jusant from Don't Nod, I don't care. Not for me. Next.
Nice.
Okay, very good. So Jusant sounds like kind of in the middle. How did the chat feel about it? Let us know. Jusant, something you'd buy. Obviously, I think it was. Did it say that one was coming to Game Pass day one? I don't remember if they did say it was, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did.
Yeah, I think it did actually, but don't quote me on it.
I wonder if this is the list of games that are coming to Game Pass, because I know City Skylines is coming and O Payday 3 is coming. This looks like the actual list that is coming to Game Pass day one.
Right,
actually,
right.
That's a good point.
Okay, the next one also had a very interesting art style, kind of a hand-drawn thing. Looked a little bit like an action-adventure game. It's like a girl with this cool sword. Like I said, very colorful game. Interesting dynamic, sort of a 3D, 2D mix of everything. It was called Dungeons of Hinterberg. Mental 9R, what'd you think of that one?
You know what it reminded me of? The art style was Borderlands. Even the way some of the doors and stuff opened, it reminded me a lot of Borderlands. But I don't know what you think on that. But that's what I was thinking. Where it took me to anyway. I think the game looks interesting, but I'd need to know more about it before I decide whether or not I was going to play it.
Yeah, that's not. I don't really know the whole gist on that one. Titan Drago.
Yeah, I knew nothing about this game, never heard of it, so it's all surprises to me. Once again, kind of like Jusant, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit more in my wheelhouse than Jusant, but until I see more on this, like it's not on my playable list right now.
Absolutely.
A lot of other games on here are just dominating, There's probably about 6 games are here that I have like no interest in. And
yeah, I feel you. Yeah. I feel you. But like I said, there's a place for everything. And again, it's another Game Pass day one. So another bonus for Game Pass. And again, a beautiful little indie that I'm sure somebody will like, right?
And that's the thing, like all these games, Xbox, they tout being, very diverse in their spread of games. And that's the whole point to that, like a lot, maybe a third of these games aren't for me, but they're sure for someone else.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, the variety is great. Mm-hmm. Can't deny that. I mean, the variety that was in the show was great.
Yeah, this show had a bit of everything. Yeah. All right, so moving over to another one. This one definitely looked a lot better, but this one was mostly more of a cinematic trailer. It's called Still Wakes the Deep. It looks like there's some sort of it's like a horror game that takes place on a very interesting scenario out on like a deep sea oil rig. So that I think has plenty of potential right there. You don't often see that setting every day, but we don't really know, what's going on there. So we didn't really see a lot of that one, but Still Wakes the Deep. Mental Nightmare, what'd you think of that one? Are you a big fan of the survival horror genre?
I am. Yeah. Yeah, this one I'm actually really interested in. I really liked what I saw initially anyway. Again, always need to know more, but it definitely looked very interesting to me. I can't wait to see more about this one.
I'm in the same boat as him. Like my hype meter is starting to raise right now, and we're just like getting into the flow of things, So, what
Absolutely.
do you think?
Again, that's one of those trailers I have to go back and rewatch, but it looked very interesting. How about the chat? Anybody did that one stir the pot? Because I felt that was one of the trailers that came out of left field, but looked pretty good. I can't remember the developer on that one. Does anybody recall who is behind that game?
I'll look it up while you guys are talking to the chat.
So yeah, I have an idea what kind of pedigree it is or who's kind of making it. So obviously it's a hot genre right now. And it looks like it's a playable kind of game, not one of those, those story-based action click ones like the crowd that does Until Dawn and all that sort of stuff. So it looks more like a Resident Evil-ish kind of a game. Probably not so much zombies, but definitely more of a monster kind of a deal.
So it's a game from a studio called Amnesia. They made a machine for pigs, I guess. Never heard of that game either. But
me neither.
Definite potential here. I wonder if they're mostly a PC developer then maybe. Must be.
Yeah. And again, I think if I'm correct, I think that one was listed as day one on Game Pass. I could be wrong, but I think so. Yeah, alrighty, let's move over to one that I definitely heard a few groans when it was shown on screen. It might be a big popular shooter, but as far as the people that I game with, it's certainly not on the radar. We're talking about Overwatch 2. They showed that one. Mental Nightmare, does Overwatch get you excited or were you ready to pass?
I'm a definite pass on that. Again, it's great they're showing it, I guess. There's people out there that like it. I know a couple people that love it, but I don't have the time to get into a game like that.
Cyber Gunter, what is up, dude? Oh, man, me and him put in some good quality time on Diablo. He helped me get to unlock Tier World 3. I helped him beat Lilith. So, yeah, man, Cyber Gunter, good to see you here, dude. As far as Overwatch 2 goes, Noof, I think the reason why people give it the kind of groans or whatever is because a lot of it's free to play, right? So it's why even say that it's in Game Pass when it's already free to play. It kind of already it's kind of redundant, I guess you could say. So
Right,
a little redundancy, and not a big deal. Still, Overwatch. Now, what they need to do for like games like that, for those that are interested, is like come out with like, hey, you're a Game Pass subscriber, you get a free battle pass or something every once in a while, maybe once a year, something like that. That would really move the hype meter up for a lot of people.
Well, that might happen when the ABK deal is wrapped up, right?
For sure.
You may get some extra perks there as a Game Pass subscriber.
What I do find interesting is how Fortnite's success after switching over to the free-to-play games as a service model has really sort of forced a lot of other games to come out with either modes or switch up how the game is presented and how it is distributed. Overwatch being one of them, because that used to be a fully paid game, and now everybody can jump into it. So it's quite interesting how the market has changed. And it was one of the biggest shooters, because it's a class-based shooter. But there's been a lot of competition since that, and I still think Overwatch has a pretty big following. But at the same time, I think we've all said it here, and I think the chat feels the same way. Overwatch is not really moving the needle for this crowd. If there's anybody in the chat that's a massive Overwatch fan, let us know, because, like I said, you could kind of hear the groans when that game was shown off the other day. So, all right, that's enough on that one. Let's move the needle over to the next one. This might have been one of the funniest trailers, and certainly one of the biggest surprises, I think, of the show. We're talking about, from Sega, we got Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, where the main character, I forget his name, he's on a beach, he's completely naked. They did this trailer where you got seashells and crabs and everything under the sun blocking his dingly dong, and he doesn't even realize he's naked till close to the end. So we don't really know a whole lot about the trailer, but I assume we're not going to go around naked the entire game. But maybe you got to earn some clothes, I don't know, or you're going around like a pedophile. I don't know what the hell is going on here. Can anybody explain it? Mental Niner, what did you think of
I thought
this odd trailer?
I thought the trailer was hilarious. I never played Like a Dragon. Not really my style of game, to be honest. So, this one I might actually look at it a bit more, just because it was funny. But typically not my style of game.
Thimber says Ichiban, and I don't know if he's referencing Friends, but if he is, that's awesome. Ichiban, lipstick
reference
for men.
to an old game. I'm not sure which one he's talking about, but interesting.
Can't get that scene out of Friends out of my head. Like a Dragon, yeah, it's more like one of Noof's dreams, like Noof naked
I
on
don't
a
dream
beach.
of naked Japanese dudes on a beach. What the heck?
You being naked on a beach, mug.
He was pretty ripped, though.
Well,
I guarantee you.
If I was naked on a beach, the lady that was pointing, she'd have been laughing, not gawking and running for the hills.
Yeah,
Like a Dragon. I'm gonna because we got like 3 in a row coming up here. Like a Dragon, PST, and then P3. I am a Western style gamer. I do not have any interest in these Eastern style developed games. I've never liked them. Never been like. I remember even when I was a kid, like some of my friends would like get I remember my friend Steve Augusto. He would get like Japanese versions of some games like that didn't come to America. And like I always used to hate that. I'm like, you don't even know what it's saying, man. It's in Japanese. You don't even know. Like, it used to drive me crazy. So that may be an added reason out of that. But I even like the art style and like those Eastern style games. Definitely a Western style gamer over here.
Okay. Well, let's move on from that one, because we don't really know much about it. But if you did like a Dragon, the last game, I'm sure this is probably going to be right up your alley. And again, some pedigree right there. Let's kind of put the next two in to one sort of, because Titan just kind of said it. He's not a fan. So we're going to talk about P3 Reload, which is Persona 3 Reload, then PST or P5, certainly Persona 5. I think it's Tactics or something they call it. So if you're a Persona fan, this is a big reason to be happy. And there are a lot of Persona fans out there. The game had huge success, over the last few years, and had a sort of resurgence in success once it came to Game Pass. So What do you guys think about that? Any excitement here, or shall we just kind of move along?
I'm more excited to say Joe Dunmore.
What's up, Joe? Speaking of shout outs to people far and away, shout out to our good friend the Mag. He's on vacation. Mag, if you're listening to the show or catching up on the replay, enjoy your vacation, my friend, and hopefully we'll catch you soon. Want to shout out to Colt Eastwood, all the great crowd that are down in Los Angeles for the showcase for this past week. Shout out to those guys. Looks like they're having an absolute ton of fun down there as well. And shout out to our good friend of the show, Mr. Boomstick XL, who's in the hospital, according to one of the tweets I saw earlier. I don't have the details. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, but get better, Mr. Boomstick. We hope that it's nothing too crazy, and we'll catch up with you soon. So let's move right along. Like I said, the Persona, sum them up, Mental 9R. Is that something that gets you excited, or is that kind of like,
Nope. Yeah, it's a pass for me too. So, but again, the variety's good. There's going to be people out there that love it. So
absolutely.
I see a couple people in the chat hype for it, like Angel is there, Azrael. That's good.
Yeah, no, right people love them. They're good games for what they are. Again, it's just what I tried. The only Persona I've ever tried, I tried about maybe an hour of Persona 5 on the PS4, and I was kind of like, I liked it and I didn't like it. I'm just not not keen on anything that's turn-based, although I did like sort of the action sequences in between, a very interesting art style and characters, so I can see why people like it, but again, it's not everybody's jam. In the chat, Curry Cosmos is there, and she says it is her scene. She likes it. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. This is the beauty of this kind of show. Is there something for everybody? And you got to have variety. You can't just have all the same style of game. Could you imagine if it was like 30 games and they're all like sports? It's football, it's hockey, it's basketball. Everybody was like, oh. Let's move to City Skylines. Obviously, a very popular game that took off and is great if you're into that sort of world building kind of stuff. The graphics I thought looked absolutely phenomenal, especially one of the nicest, well-rounded, and like the textures and just the creativity that you got here. I thought it looked pretty cool, and it is coming to Game Pass day one, so no harm, no foul. Mental 9R, are you ready to jump in and build some cities, or is this not your jam?
It gave me really strong SimCity vibes from back in the old days. I think it was SimCity 4 was probably the last one I spent a significant amount of time in. These games, I don't mind them personally. If I want to just do something that's a little more mindless and sit back and build something, I might give this a try to just see what it's like.
Definite. Love the chill game, man. City Skylines 1, I put a ton of time into. I had I think it was a megalopolis that had no stop signs, and that's the trick to beating traffic, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Arrange your roads with no stop signs. They're all either on ramps, off ramps, or like there's some strategies in doing that. So real quick hint for those that don't know how to do that, and you have traffic is a problem in your city, and I had, it was so cool. City Skylines. My town was so big it was bogging down even my Xbox Series X, but that was before they released this a remaster of it. I guess they came out with a remaster for the next gen consoles. So I downloaded that and then I deleted it because I knew this game was coming out, and I don't want to burn myself out on the old one until the new one comes out. But that doesn't come out till October, so I don't know. That's a long time to have to wait to build some cities, because I'm super hyped for City Skylines 2.
Awesome. Thimber says it's 100% his jam. See, that's what I love. That there's lots of diversity here, and everybody's finding something to like about in the shows. So I thought it looked well done. Certainly looked like a massive improvement over the first game, even though I never played it. But I did see lots of video on it. It's actually a pretty popular game, I think, amongst some streamers as well, oddly enough. And it looks like the kind of game that if you're into, it's it's a chill game, something you can relax with and have a lot of fun with. So, if that's your thing, like I said, coming to Game Pass. So, like I said, the show was a big win for Game Pass. There's a lot of great games coming. All right.
Hell yeah. It's like kind of like that. I got it. You know what? Maybe a chill game that will kind of bandage that. Wait for City Skylines 2. Maybe a good chill game for that is going to be this Park Beyond game coming out in like a few days.
Right.
So yeah, I can't wait to jump on that too. Another chill game, but unfortunately, that's not on Game Pass though. That would be sick if that was.
Here we go. We're gonna do the minute clock on a few of these here. Let's move right past. We're gonna Fallout 76 Atlantic City DLC. Mental 9R. What is your take on that particular game? Are you a Fallout 76 fan, and are you surprised that they keep bringing out content for a game that was largely deemed broken way back when?
Yeah. I'm surprised it stuck around this long, but I love Fallout 3. That was, I think, the first game on Xbox 360 that I maxed. Did all the achievements for all the expansions included. I think it was like 1,500 points or whatever. But I never did really get into Fallout 4 the same way, or at all, really. I played for maybe 10, 12 hours, and it just kind of drifted off. And Fallout 76, I ran around in there for a while. Maybe it warrants giving it another try. I don't know. It looked decent.
I tried it recently, not too bad. Like I said, definitely there's some fun to be had there if you can find a good friend to roll with you. Titan Drago, Are you shocked about this DLC? I'm probably not surprised you even see it at the show. It doesn't shock me there, but is that something you can even jump back to or get you good to jump into that game?
No, I don't know if you remember this, but when we were on Salty's Gaming Podcast, Fallout 76 came out. And I bought it, and it was like the worst purchase I've ever made. So no, I will not be going back to that.
See, and oddly enough, Spider-Man was an interesting fact. 76 is over 11 million players, and you know what? If you jump into that game, there are still lots of people playing it. So it's one of those games that started out extremely broken or unfinished and has now kind of gotten a life of its own. There's been a lot of games like that, like thanks to bug fixes and more content and stuff like that. Like it's just amazing that the player base hung around long enough to bring more people in, like something like Sea of Thieves, right? So kudos to them.
Exactly.
And like I said, maybe now is the time to jump into Fallout 76, but it's not my cup of tea, and it doesn't sound like anybody else here really gives a dink about it either.
That one surprises me more so than Sea of Thieves, because I could see Sea of Thieves. People love the pirate. Damn it. All right, go ahead.
Let's go. Well, speaking of Sea of Thieves, Monkey Island DLC wasn't too long ago. They came out with these the Pirates of the Caribbean DLC, and it was really successful. So here we are. We've got Monkey Island. Anybody a fan of Monkey Island? Are you excited to see it show up in Sea of Thieves? Mental
Damn, I could have fucking perfectly segued into this one. So Sea of Thieves, don't know much about Monkey Island, but I do enjoy it. Like, I played a few Sea of Thieves expansions, and last one really cool thing I did was when, I don't know, you go through some fucking, it's like some shroud or whatever, and you're like in a completely different part of the map. That expansion was cool. I don't remember what it was called. It was like a year ago at least, but I might jump back into Sea of Thieves. I can never seem to get rid of this game.
Yeah, it's one of those games that's it's good for the long haul, and it's good to mess around with a few friends. So obviously, anytime you got new content in a game that's dearly beloved, as Spider-Man says, over 30 million players, there's a reason why they keep coming up with content for it. So, Mental 9R, are you a sailor at heart? So did this raise your flag at all?
My flag is still at half mast.
Yeah, no, half mast?
Yeah, it did nothing for me, really. I am, again, great variety. That's awesome, but it's just, I'm more of a shooter guy and, action adventure type gamer. So
fair enough. There you go. But you got some new content, guys. For me, I watched it, and I got a big old case of blue cannonballs, so I'm ready to move right on. Next. All right, we also got more. We're going to talk about this. It's kind of a 2-for-1. You got Flight Simulator 2024, and then, of course, the Dune DLC. We saw the Top Gun DLC for Flight Simulator last year, I think it was, and now the Dune Flight Simulator, which is very interesting. Flight Simulator, anybody playing that right now? And what did you think of all of the crazy stuff that they've added to the 2024 version? Like they have like the rescue helicopters now and firefighting and stunt planes. And I mean, if there's anything now with wings and propellers on it, this game pretty much has it. And it looks absolutely to die for. Who's a Flight Simulator fan on the panel, in the chat, Titan or Mental? Take it away on this one. Flight Simulator.
Well, it blew my mind when it first came out. That was like one of the craziest looking games. Like I felt like that was I felt like that was actually the first next gen game graphically wise that we actually had this generation. And then I know one person that's going to be really hyped for this is our buddy Axel. And boy, he has spent a lot of time on Flight Simulator, I know. So if he like jumps on my back or something to jump on it, I might jump on it with him a little bit.
Yeah, myself, visually, it's very impressive. Obviously, I used to be a huge flight sim guy. Not anymore. It's not as much anyway. I mean, I did give it a bit of a run when it first came out. Maybe I go back and check out what some of these new pieces are all about, but I don't see me doing this long term anyway. I thought the Doom expansion though, that was funny. That got a good chuckle out of me. I
like how they're like kind of adding like little things to do instead of just fly around endlessly. So that's something, and I hopefully they can keep going down that and get more interesting things to do, because like putting out fires, man, it's like, all right, well, give us something to work for, give us something to unlock. That's what that game needs, and that's what would bring people back, something to unlock.
Yeah, like I said, I think the people that have kind of grown up with Flight Simulator largely still play it, and this is just a definitive version of it essentially. And there's a lot of complexity in it, but again, for a lot of us with older guys who don't find much time to play, or those with very short attention spans, probably not the best game. Like I did play it when it first came out for the Series X, and I did enjoy it, but again, it's just something I couldn't see myself sinking hours and hours and hours into. Just not my jam, you know what I mean? But again, it's another fantastic title. It adds a lot of diversity to your portfolio, and I'm glad it is there. Yes, we need a timer for me, right, Titan?
At least I waited until you got through with your sentence.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Another indie that Sarah Bond introduced on stage called 33 Immortals. And this one's interesting because it has a whole lot of sort of different genre influence here. But the kicker is the fact that it's 33-player co-op. It looks absolutely nuts. It kind of, I don't know if this is like a roguelike or it's an action adventure. It looked like a lot of little characters going around capes just killing a variety of stuff. So I don't really know what's going on here, but it definitely looked interesting. Mental 9R, are you going to be one of those 33 Immortals?
I wasn't interested until I found out there was 33-player co-op, and then I thought,
same.
Yeah, maybe that's interesting, right? Like just to see what it would be like. I'm curious about it. That's for sure.
You got to round up your entire Xbox friends list just to play it.
Exactly.
Looking for group. I need 32 Immortals.
Need 32.
Hey, full 32. That would be crazy though if you could actually bring in 33 people that you actually knew at one time to play this. We can't even get 33 to play like Call of Duty and stuff. Like
we've been pretty close though a couple times.
Yeah, we had some big groups. Like I said,
Xbox will need to buff their party chat though.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I don't know, because do you really want to hear 32 other mugs talking over each other?
Oh, exactly. God. It could be mass chaos.
Yeah, it would sound like the old episodes of BGST. 33 Immortals. Okay, anybody in the chat excited for this? Thimber says I don't even have 33 friends.
Keep working at it. You'll get there.
Yeah. We don't even have enough people watching the show right now to make if we asked everybody.
There are 31
awesome
now.
People in the house though. We got Spider-Man hanging out with Stimber, John 907, Kari Cosmos, Talos, Ray, Fastback is here as well. M. Gene is in the building. We got Angel Azriel here. We've got Doggy Dog still hanging out. Timothy Dixon, what's up, my brother? Good to see you here. He missed the show last week, so his notification didn't go off. It is good to see him. One of my longtime supporters. And I hope you guys are enjoying what you've seen of the show so far. All right, let's move into the next one. It is a sequel that nobody expected at this show, but I thought it looked pretty damn good. And I got a feeling it's something that at least Titan and I might actually try. Payback 3 coming to Game Pass this year, I think.
I played.
Was it Payback 3 Titan? Did you ever play the first two?
I played the second one a pretty decent amount. I had a couple friends that were really into that. It lacked some depth, so hopefully Payday 3 brings that depth and more missions and whatnot. Maybe more masks, things like that. Kind of crazy things to like accentuate yourself as you're robbing people blind and whatnot. It looked like they gave you some more tools to work with just from the trailer. I saw a few different things that were new. From what I remember way back in the Payday 2 days. So, a lot of potential with Payday 3. Love that. That is also coming to Game Pass day one, so I'm loving it.
Trying to get this damn way up properly.
I had a good chuckle when I saw it because I've had Payday 2 forever. I've never played it. But yeah, it's just part of my backlog of shame. The game looked like it might be fun, though. Interesting anyway, to some extent. Visually, not really a stunner. The graphics looked like pretty dated to me, pretty flat texture-wise and stuff. But I don't know.
Shines in like it shines in like the hype moments that you get. Usually, every mission. Usually, at some point, you get pretty hyped, and like someone gets knocked or something like that. And that's what it's like best for me.
Well, like I said, compared to Payday 2, it was a massive jump. If you go back and you watch or play Payday 2 and you look at this definitely is a massive step up for them, so good on them. I thought it looked pretty cool. Obviously, it's different. Something that, yes, if you got a good team of friends, there is lots of potential. And obviously, the game is done well enough to warrant a third sequel, and it is coming to Game Pass, so that is another fantastic thing. Payday Engine starting to show its age, according to Sparhawk. Good to see you in the chat. Our good friend of the show, Maddie Burns, is here as well. I haven't watched a single game trailer this week. I haven't watched the Xbox show or Capcom or Ubisoft. I've been busy and haven't thought about it. Well, we're here to just kind of get you up to date there, Maddie Burns. Good to see you here, my brother. Stinking Corpse is in the house. Dreadpool is here. Wow, now we got the who's who showing up in the building. Let's get over to another game that was practically DOA on arrival for a while and took a little while to hit its stride, but now it just seems to be going, and we were introduced to this game by the one and only John Wick himself, Keanu Reeves, Cyberpunk. Yes, it is making its return, and it is called Phantom Liberty. He's coming back as Johnny again, so there you go, guys. What do you think? Anybody ready to dive back into the world of Cyberpunk? Mr. Mental NR?
I sure am, yeah. Like, Cyberpunk was my favorite game back about the year after, I guess, it officially launched, or I played it maybe 6 months after launch, and damn, I really like that game. So I'm pumped for this one. I'm really looking forward to it. This was the only one that kind of got me like, oh wow, where I was feeling like the hype right there. I really liked it. It kind of stole the show for me in many respects. And I mean, hey, if there's a chance to save V's life, you got to go for it, right? Can't say no to that. So
indeed. Are you very impressed with where this game has evolved over time? And obviously, the fact they've kind of stuck with it when they could have just easily walked away from it. I guess they had too much invested, and they did promise people DLC, so here it is. But like I said, we all remember the backlash this game got, and now it's starting to finally look and feel like the Cyberpunk we were kind of promised.
The game's in great shape. I mean, I played it on PC, like I say, about 6 months after launch, and it played great for me. I've got a decent PC, but ultimately, I mean, no real bugs. I think the worst sin it maybe had at that time was spawning multiple NPCs that were the same. So you'd have quintuplets walking around everywhere in the same clothes, but other than that, it was good. I loved the game. I can't wait to get back into it.
How about you, Titan? Cyberpunk, did you even get into that game? I hardly ever heard you talk about it, so I'm guessing it was one of those ones you kind of skipped.
No, I love it when a plan comes to fruition because I bought the game. I planned on beating it. Check, beat that game. And then I planned on not going back to it until the DLC came out. So it's looking really good. I hope there's a good recap for me, though, because I forgot a lot about the story with Johnny and whatnot. So, man, I don't even remember where I started the game. I think I started as... Nope, I don't even remember where I started. I know I wasn't a lowlander or whatever. I was either... I think I was corporate, I want to say. Either way,
I know our good brother Jago in the chat. He played the hell out of that game, and I think for most of us, we only played it up until the point where we shagged what's her name, and then that was it. What the heck was her name? The real sexy one.
Well, there were two of them. There were two main.
I'm talking about the.
I think one was gay, wasn't she?
What's the name of that one with the tattoos? The one in the junkyard.
The tattoo. Oh man, I don't remember the names. This is too long ago.
Jago, what's her name? The one that Pan Am. Thank you.
Yes, Rob
comes to the
she was the thick one. Judy. Tim did with the other one too. Judy. Yeah.
Judy and Pan Am. Yes, but Pan Am was the one that I was like, damn.
I was Team Judy.
I've played through it twice actually. So I did the Nomad and the corporate version. So.
And you never.
How different were they when you played through them? Because I've always been curious about that.
Other than, ultimately you get to the same place, right? But it's maybe you got some different strategies. Like the corporate person, you can use the corporate speak to get your way, whereas the Nomad, it was more intimidation, things like that. Where it didn't change it a lot for me. So
mostly like
overall.
Fake consequences. That's one of those things where it's like they make you think there's choice and consequences, but it always ends you up back at the same spot. I don't care for that, but still a really fantastic game.
Well, I'm glad they still added DLC. That's all I'll say about it. If you like Cyberpunk, again, there's more to love. But outside of that, again, it is DLC, and this is certainly not what we showed up for, but we're glad it was there. Moving the needle right along, let's start getting into some big ones now. We've got most of these games already out of the way. Let's start with this one. We're going to kind of work our way back left to right from the screen. Towerborn. Mental 9.
Not my kind of game. Yeah, I don't see me getting into that one. Yeah.
There we go. Next. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. That was probably one of the few games I was like, yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get to the next one then. Since we're all in unanimous that game did not move anybody's needle, we're going to talk about Clockwork Revolution. This one comes from In Exile, sort of a steampunk, futuristic throwback. It kind of reminded me of a bunch of different games rolled into one. I was getting the whole BioShock Infinite vibe a little bit on this one. What'd you guys think of that one? Mental 9R, Clockwork Revolution from In Exile. First time we've seen anything from them in a while.
Yeah, I'm really pumped for this one. I love the BioShock world. And like you say, BioShock Infinite written all over this one for me. I'm really looking forward to it. A little bit of reminiscent of some Wolfenstein 2 in there too, with the robotic enemies and whatnot, and things of that nature. But the visuals looked really solid graphically. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This ranks right up there as one of the best to show for me.
Awesome. Yeah, it was definitely one of the surprises. Titan Drago, how about yourself, man? Where did you come in on this one?
Thing is, I think In Exile, like they're one of the few developers that has a chance to bring me into enjoying steampunk things. Like there's only been like really maybe one steampunk-ish game that I've liked, and that was I don't even know if that was really steampunk. It was more survival. Yeah, it wasn't really steampunk, but Frostpunk was a really good game that I enjoyed. But as I think more and more about it, I'm seeing too many differences between the steampunk like genre or whatever. So cancel that anyway. But my quote still stands. In Exile, they're awesome, and they do have the skills to like make me interested in something like that I'm usually not.
Yeah, and the chat comment there, the time travel. That's another thing. I love time travel stuff.
Yeah, the time travel, changing the past kind of thing, and obviously some of they had some very interesting looking weapons, and the game just had a really catchy aesthetic to it,
Yeah.
Definitely looked like a next gen kind of shooter for sure. Lots of detail, very detailed characters, lots of stuff happening on the screen. So pretty cool stuff.
Sparhawk, man, I'm getting so many like old school vibes when we, before the year break, like Sparhawk, Spider-Man, fucking Jago, golly, like so many good dudes in the chat. Talos,
absolutely.
Timothy Dixon.
OV Sean, what's going on, Realm OV Sean? Never seen you in the chat before, but welcome. Two Pad Stack, aka Dizzy Delta, is in the building. We got Jago, Spider-Man, Rico Dennis is here as well. Angel Azrael, John Wolf hanging out with us as well in the chat. Good to see you here. Man, amazing people. And our good friend Axel1324, he's in the chat as Iconic Video Games. He's got his moniker changed to represent his channel. Go check out that amazing show on Friday nights. It has Titan Drago's wife, Princess Zelda, and Axel and Doggy Dog in there. So it's a great show. And is Dreadpool's wife still on that one?
Yep.
Okay, I haven't been catching the show too much. So
Death Dealer,
Death Dealer. There you go. So a couple of wives in there making their way around there. So good stuff. All right, let's Clockwork. So far, pretty good response on that one from the chat and from the panel.
Yeah, they had a really good sexy game on their last show that I watched. They do this sexy game skit where they read quotes from reviewers or whatever, and they read them in their sexy voices. Really good.
We're going to move to the top row here because, again, this is more DLC. Elder Scrolls Online Necrom. Obviously, Elder Scrolls is a massive game. The online series is still going strong. Any Elder Scrolls fans here? And is anybody playing?
Where are we skipping around for? What is this?
Because I want to get that one, because we're getting to the big games now. So I want to get that.
Then just air it out then. Let's go.
Let's go. No, nobody cares about Necrom.
You're messing up my notes. I'm trying to look ahead here on what we're coming up on, and my notes are all screwed up now.
That's it. I'm keeping you on your toes. That's it. Gotta start hitting that clock again.
Give them a
Go ahead, Mental Niner. Take us up to date on online. Are you even interested in this stuff at all?
I love Skyrim. Put in around 300 hours into that game. Really enjoyed it. I've never got into the Elder Scrolls Online though.
Again, it's 300 hours just skim the surface.
Oh yeah. And I think I was heavy into Destiny. I put 4,500 hours into Destiny, right? So this was kind of out around that time. I didn't have any time for this, and I definitely, after finally breaking the Destiny habit, I don't need another one. So I'll stay away from this one probably.
I played a little bit of the very first Elder Scrolls Online, and honestly, I just couldn't get it. Again, it was one of those things I was like, if I'm going to commit to this game, it's not that I didn't like it, but it's just like I could see where if you're going to commit to that, you've got to commit to it, right? It's one of those things where you go all in, or you're just never really going to enjoy it for what it is. Yeah, Titan Drago, the heat is on. He's now shedding the layer. He's going on with Titan. Titan, take us through Necrom. Are you even bothering with that at all?
Talking to me?
Yeah, man. Necrom.
What's your take on?
Could care less.
No, I too many other games, man. That is a commitment to get into that game. I got one friend doing that hard, and he's actually one of my oldest friends too. Punky, man, we played killed a lot of people on Call of Duty together. Now he's stuck on that game, so hopefully, man. Can they end that DLC stuff and so he can come back and play some more games with me? That's what I want.
Yeah, unless you have nothing but time, these type of games, they suck at all. Anything you have, they'll take it, spit it out.
All right, let's move in real quick. We're going to pound through these next few before we get to the big ones. We got a Path of a Goddess. This was a surprise release from Capcom. It is coming to Game Pass at day one. I thought this one looked amazing. This was one of the biggest surprises for me. What did you guys think of that? The interesting art style, kind of like a Devil May Cry sort of game, but with more of a samurai aesthetic, I guess you could say.
No, skip me on this one. No.
Miss you with that, eh? For me, I thought the art style is what kind of drew me in. It looked crazy cool, super colorful. It's just bizarre enough that I might give it a try. Lots
of weird ooey gooey creatures and hopefully not souls right?
Yeah. It depends what I'm playing at the time when it's available, but I might give it a try if I'm looking for something to play.
All righty. Next one comes from the makers of Persona. It is called Metaphor. I thought that looked pretty cool. Obviously, very reminiscent with the art style, the hand-drawn graphic sort of thing, or the pixel art, whatever you want to call it. What do you guys think of this one? If you're a Persona fan, you're probably definitely interested in this. Mental Niner?
Yeah, nope.
That was a nope.
Can we just skip to the good ones, man? We're so freaking close.
I know it's kind of weird because now that I'm reading this shit out, it seems like there was a lot more shitty ass games there than I recall because we're all kind of going, we're all groaning over here. How about you, Titan Metaphor? No,
I just want the good games. Look, can we skip to South Midnight?
Yeah. We're going to because we got about half an hour left. All right, so here we go. We're getting into some big ones now. South of Midnight. This was an interesting one. This one comes courtesy of Compulsion Games, I do believe. We finally got to see what they're up to, and I thought this was really cool. Big, tall, skeleton-looking dude playing his guitar in the middle of the bio or something like that. He looks up, and there's a chick staring at him. What did you guys think of this? I mean, it was kind of hard to make out. She's like, hey, have you seen this creature? And this big thing comes out of the freaking swamp. Kind of like a Witcher mixed with a, I don't know what kind of game. What do you guys think is going on here, and is anybody excited for this one?
Yeah, super excited. South of Midnight. Go ahead, not mental.
Yeah, no, you're good. You started, Titan. Go ahead.
Man, the dude, he sets a good tone. I wish I would have gone more into it, but the tone has definitely been set with this one, and I am digging the tone. I love the. He was actually playing a real guitar. It looked like too. I'm no master myself, but I've seen I've been a lead singer. I've seen some people play guitar. It looked pretty legit. Watching
it did, yes. I liked it. Not like you see some games where the hand just kind of slides, and you're like, well, I was pretty sure that's not the note he's playing, but okay.
They got pretty cool. They got some type of camera on a real guitarist or something, and motion captured that or something. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. At least it wasn't like bad lip syncing a blowjob, right?
And it's my God, this was one of the composers. How many years have we been waiting for this game? We knew they were working on something. We knew it was going to be something big, and finally we get it. Yeah, so that's a big weight off my back.
It looks cool, but I think we can all say we're kind of like with Jago. It looks really cool. I think everybody's kind of going, whoa, what is this? What are we in for? But again, we don't know enough. We haven't seen enough. It said in engine, but that's as far as we know. So it wasn't a CGI rendered thing, but there you go, right? Pretty short and sweet. Sathius, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you here. All right, let's get into the next one. We got a lot more big games to get into right now. All right, let's start with the last of the third-party stuff before we get into the big ones. Star Wars Outlaws. This game came by a huge surprise. It was literally the third game they showed off at the show. This one's being published by Ubisoft, made by Massive, and it has a scoundrel. I forget her name, but she's obviously a female sort of Han Solo kind of character. She's got this cute little character. I think they call it Nix or Sticks or some bloody thing, whatever the heck she calls it. Looks like really cool. And if you guys got the chance to catch Ubisoft's show today, they showed some actual gameplay of it, and it did look really good. Something I'm definitely interested in. What do you guys think of Star Wars Outlaws? Any Star Wars people in the house ready to play this one?
I got my whole Star Wars room down here in my man cave, man. Freaking A. This was the surprise of the show for me. This really upped the score for me. The graphics are the people that say Starfield has good graphics. Step down to Star Wars, okay? Take a bow to Star Wars. That is good graphics. That is phenomenal graphics. That is next generation graphics. Starfield is not fucking next generation. Starfield is fucking old tech. And oh my God, and I'm getting tired of fucking people defending Starfield and it's 30 frames per second. I'll get into that later. But Outlaws, man, this is what I wanted Starfield to look like. This is what, and my God, this showed so well. And I did watch that video of the gameplay. Freaking amazing, man. I'm wondering how open world it is. Does anyone have a clue about that? About New for Mental? Do you guys know how open world it is? Because the first, from what it showed it was pretty linear. But then I think it was about to as the thing ended, I think it was about to kind of open it up to open world-esque stuff.
Well, Ubisoft, that's where they live, right? Open worlds. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're onto something with that. It could go that route, but you're right. It looked a little more linear to me. I mean, I'm always a bit of a sucker for Star Wars games. I'm not saying I play them all, but it always piques my interest when I see one. And I definitely thought it looked fantastic. I'm stoked for this one. It'll be on my list for sure.
Yeah, me too. This might be a day one. Love the character, love the art design. Also love the fact that it's in that Star Wars time period, which is around Return of the Jedi kind of era. It's not the new stuff. So, new characters, but based sort of in the Star Wars portion that a lot of us old farts tend to like. stuff that we can identify with creatures and ships and everything else, So fantastic trailer for sure. I think Ubisoft may very well have a great hit on their hands. Definitely excited for this one for sure. All right, so it seems like the chat is also pretty excited for Star Wars Outlaws. Who doesn't love a little bit of Star Wars? All right, let's get over to a couple more. Avowed finally showed its head. Some people online kind of disappointed with it. Some people thinking it looks fantastic. Where do we fall on Avowed? Let's go ahead, Mental 9R. What do you think?
I'm liking it a lot, actually. This is another one that really jumped out for me. I know there's been some complaints about the graphics. I did catch Dee's rant the other day. Yesterday, I think it was. He went off the deep end a little bit on it. For me, it looks a lot like the Outer Worlds. That sort of art style, which I guess maybe isn't surprising considering the developer. But I thought it looked really good. Yeah, there's some room to clean it up a bit, but it's also not out for a while. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see more about the story and where it's going. Looked great to me.
Yeah, a little bit of a Last of Us going on with Oblivion over there, because you had these infected bears and shit with all of the warts and stuff hanging off, and there was magic and there was swords, and there was a lot of stuff happening in that trailer. So yeah. Titan, what do you think, man? Is that kind of game you can't wait to dive into?
A lot of stuff happening. This was one of my top 3 games that I'm excited for, but I was kind of in the underwhelmed camp as far as it came to Avowed. I feel like the first trailer that we saw didn't quite match what we just recently were exposed to with Avowed. They didn't. I don't. Yeah, like Mental said, there is still time to improve upon the graphics and whatnot, but I'm preparing myself for that's what we're gonna get, and we always got to remember that YouTube does we didn't watch the stream. We didn't watch the stream in 4K. The bit rate was poor, so everything we saw wasn't exactly what it's gonna be, but I think I could still see through that shroud, and I was still a little underwhelmed, but. Right. Either way, it's kind of like with Starfield. Starfield's going to be an amazing game, and I think Avowed's going to be an amazing game. It just didn't wow me. All right, let's take it like for Fable. Fable, the last CGI trailer, and if we talked about this, the last CGI trailer, it perfectly fit the theme for what Fable was, and it was going for that perfect fantasy / realism visual style. I think Avowed isn't making it there, I think that shows the real difference in skill level between these two developers. I think Fable's they're what a playground game, they're tearing it up over there, man. They have talent upon talent upon talent, and the Avowed, they're good, I don't want to knock it too much, I don't want to sound too negative, but they're just not on the skill level as playground games.
That's very similar with Sony studios. Insomniac makes incredible games, but when you look at sort of their graphics tech, they don't seem to be as advanced as the Naughty Dog crowd. Do you know what I mean? Now, maybe it's because of the stylized games that they make or the genres that they make, where everything kind of lends itself to a different rendering or that sort of stuff, or perhaps just the amount of stuff that's happening on screen. But I think every studio has their sort of strengths and weaknesses, and Obsidian certainly has. It's starting to seem like a very set art style. And again, if you use the same tool sets all the time, I'm sure that, you're going to start getting a lot of the same sort of look and feel to a lot of your games, hence your telegraphing it or your signature art style, like you get with a lot of the Unreal Engine games. A lot of times they have that very similar look all the time, especially the older stuff. Back in the 360 when Gears came out, you can almost tell exactly which games were built on Unreal Engine. Mantle, maybe you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, no, I'm nodding my head a lot because I agree. I mean, life would be kind of boring if every studio's games, if they all look the same, right? These guys have their own art style. I think what I'd like to see, and again, the YouTube compression is not the kindest thing in the world for stuff like this, right? But they need to clean up the textures. I don't mind the look. It's just make it clean, make it crisp, and have it look the best it can within your own art style, right? Yeah, sure. And as long as they do that, I'll be happy. I mean, I played through Outer Worlds twice. I loved that game. And it's not the most graphically rewarding experience there is, that's for sure. But it's a great game, and as long as the game's great, I can settle a little bit with the less than realistic looking graphics to some extent.
This is one of the games many of the Xbox fans have waited to finally see. So where's the hype meter on this one from the panel here? From 1 to 10, where's the hype meter sit for you after seeing that trailer? Titan.
For Avowed?
Yeah.
7.
7. Okay, how about you, Mental? Where's the hype meter?
I'd probably go with an 8.5.
Okay, how about the chat? What's your hype meter for Avowed after seeing that trailer? I'm going to say 7 myself.
3. Right. Holy smokes, our Rob. Calm down.
Our Rob does not like wordy bears.
Our Rob, take a drink of beer, man. Let's share one with me.
Spider-Man's way up in 9, so we got an Avowed fan right there. Awesome. Good stuff.
About to pour one out for our Rob over here, man.
Yeah, don't worry. We won't be too long extending the show tonight, but it is a lot of games. We're coming into the final stretch here. All right, let's get over to the big ones now. Let's go with the game that launched at the show. Finally, after years of waiting, we saw something legit on Fable. Some people in the community, even some people that were shared earlier tonight, they were actually doing an interview with Phil Spencer, and the guy's like, so where was the gameplay? And Phil's like, that was gameplay. There was gameplay in there.
Yeah, like when she threw a fireball, obviously gameplay.
Like, did anybody watch
the chicken?
Did you not see on the bottom it said in engine gameplay mixed with whatever, like, you know what I mean? There was gameplay,
and even the giant dude when he's smashing down gameplay, people like people refuse to accept the facts. I got a lot to talk about that, Noob, about people refusing to accept the facts in front of them. It's the sickness that's fucking spreading, man. We gotta
I think it's a lot of them. They just can't believe that Xbox has studios that can make some face melting graphics right now.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, if it's that good, it can't be real. And it's like, no, it can be real. Like, look, we've seen what Playground does. They're amazing with environments and stuff like that. So why wouldn't they? They've had a few years to work on it now. You know?
Yeah. No, I thought it looked fantastic. It reminded me a lot of Plague Tale Requiem, to be honest.
Right.
A little bit of that chromatic aberration on the side, stuff like that. Yeah, it was a good looking game. I was quite impressed with the trailer, to be perfectly honest. I'm looking forward to it. It's right up there for me.
It's got the humor. It's got some style. It's obviously got giants, something we haven't really seen much of in any game. So a lot going on there in such a short trailer.
Thimber says Richard Ayadale was such a plus, man. And I love that dude. I know my wife does too. He is from a show called the IT Crowd. If you have not seen that show, you have got to. You're missing out on some good comedy if you have not seen it.
That is all. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. I love that show. It's awesome.
He's in it, man. Freaking, I loved seeing him in this. That was a pleasant surprise, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Princess Elvin to chat. Fastback, our good buddy HTK hanging out with us as well. Talus Ray still here. Curry Cosmos. Axel's in the building. What's going on? Nick Sparhawk. Great people here tonight. Spider-Man, Jago Kukin. Man, you guys are amazing. We got I think 30 some odd people hanging out with us right now. Absolutely flabbergasted. Thank you so much for the support, everybody. Anyway, let's get right back to it. BitCloud Gaming, what's up, brother? Long time no see. Fable, where were we?
Yes, so I'll go on my take. And you have yet to give your take yet, right, Noob?
Yes, go ahead.
Good, because I got to get something situated here after this take. So Star Wars Outlaws was my number one favorite surprise of the show, and Fable was my favorite part of the show. Not only was this on my, last week we did a list. What does the show need to be a 10? Fable was on there, and I said it needed to show, that amazing realism yet fantasy-like graphics. I only have one word for that, and that is perfect.
Right.
They have done this game. I can't even nitpick this. I have no complaints. I don't know how you can even nitpick this game. When you got people saying, well, where's the gameplay at? And it's staring you at in the face. kind of like with Hellblade, right?
Yeah.
Only this was like even more in your face. Like so many things you could tell that it was gameplay.
Yeah.
Like when we slam on, like you're obviously trying to get away. And when she throws a fireball, that's obviously combat. I can go on and on about this game, and I like we're trying to do this show a little faster, and we don't have much time. But Fable is, God, man, you got to tip your hat to Playground Games for everything they've done.
We don't do many showcases, so if we run a little bit here, that's okay, guys. Especially on these big games, you can have a chat. Don't worry.
Let me hear what
the crowd in the chat right now are probably hoping that we stay longer regardless. It seems like that's unanimous, so it's okay if we stretch it a little bit longer than the intention.
Cool.
It's Mike's first show. As long as he doesn't have to go anywhere and put the kids to bed,
No, I'm good. Made it clear. I've got my do not disturb sign on my door, so it's all good.
Go ahead, Titan. You were talking.
I was looking at Serenity from the chat. Said I didn't like the first Fable. Don't care for the silly humor. I like my fantasy RPGs dark and serious. Well, it's got the potential to be dark. It's definitely not to be taken seriously. This is definitely a humorous RPG, and that's just what Fable is. So maybe it's just not for you, Serenity. But yeah, like. I personally, I've loved Fable. I loved 1, 2, and 3. I saw where they were going with all of them. I enjoyed what I saw, and maybe the only thing I'm left like questioning is it just a story? Is it just a Fable? Are we just like going through this story? I want to know. Like I'm left with some questions. Like, is it open world? I'm left with other questions.
Right.
I'm left with other questions like, are things going to morph over time like Fable has always been famous for? I would imagine, but we've yet to see any of that. They have yet to show any of that stuff. They've sure got the graphics down to a freaking art, it's beautiful to look at, and it's. I feel like doggy dog right now, man. I'm freaking like overwhelmed with positive things to say about something. You know what I mean, Noof?
I totally know what you mean. Jago even brought up the part, where the chicken gets kicked. Goes flying through the sky. It's hilarious.
And that's the level of detail. Like, just real quick, they're keeping to the history of Fable. You know, like Playground, they have done it, man. They're keeping with the nature of Fable, and I think they're going to even expand that hilarious stuff. Like even when she was about to drop the F-bomb, at the end, and it didn't show you what happened, but the glasses are broken on the ground, and the giant, where's the giant? But
right.
So perfect, man.
I think this is definitely like a reboot of sorts. It's Fable in name only. Obviously, just the biggest connection is trying to keep with that sort of the era. That of the swords and the mystic and the magic and stuff like that, and the humor, obviously having that cheeky humor that it's been known for, which obviously came across in that trailer, the giant pumpkins and the vegetable stuff that they were talking about, and she's eating a hamburger there on the top of the hill and all this sorts of stuff, and of course people are already talking about her like being not overly attractive, which I didn't know that was a prerequisite for a good character, but
they gotta complain about.
But hey, at the same time, I will give them some respect because people chirped about Aloy, and it's like, man, this girl makes Aloy look like Pamela Anderson. Like, what the heck? Yeah. But anyway, I was pretty happy with what I saw. I wouldn't say I was disappointed. It's definitely one of the best parts of the show, but we'll kind of give a wrap up in a second. So, any further thoughts on Fable before we move into the final 3 here?
I wasn't too concerned that there wasn't enough gameplay. To me, it spoke volumes in what they showed. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I think it's
you're a moron if you complain anything about this. You're just a moron. Put you in the moron bin and
well, you know what? Even Game Over Greggy, who's notorious PlayStation big guy, like he even come out one of his tweets. He said like that was an amazing show by Xbox. He goes, if you didn't like that show, he said, what do you want from Xbox? And I think I said that yesterday when I was on Spooky Sprockets, podcast over at 4GQ TV. that's kind of what I said. I said, like, if you didn't like this show, if it wasn't at least somewhere in the high ratings, what did you want from Xbox? I mean, they showed legitimately almost every game that the majority of us had wanted to see. But anyway, I'm getting off. We'll kind of come back to that summary in a second. Let's get back over to the last couple of games. This is my most anticipated game of the show, and I was not disappointed. Hellblade 2, Senua's Sacrifice, I think it's called. Is that what they call that game now? It's Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Again, which was a mixture of in-game cinematic that blended straight into gameplay. We saw a little bit more of it. It looked absolutely amazing. I heard some people say it was downgraded. Downgraded how? This looked absolutely
downgraded.
Nuts. This was easy. In my opinion, this was easy the best looking game we saw at the show. Now that was a pretty close one. I'm still going to give it the Hellblade because her facial animations. This is Xbox's studio now that has that high end motion capture. The rendering, like when she's talking and stuff to herself and everything, it's amazing. Like you look at that and it almost looks like you're watching a movie. It's crazy. When she does finally walk and you can tell it's the gameplay, it just seamless and it looks incredible. I can't wait for this game. What more can I say? And it's coming 2024. It's coming Game Pass day one. I can't wait to buy it. I'll buy this one physically. I'll probably buy a special edition if they make one because I really like the first game so much. People are concerned about combat because they didn't see much of it. Look, I'm not concerned at all because I thought the combat was well done in the first game. Sure, they heard people's complaints. I think they will improve that for the second game. Bottom line is it's going to be a great story. It's got a bigger budget now. It's just phenomenal. Melina Juergens giving another great performance, and again, one of those games that you have to play with your headphones on. Can't wait for this one. How do you guys feel about Hellblade 2? As excited as I am, because I'm dying for this one.
Oh yeah, no, I think you just read my notes. Were you spying on my screen here somehow? But no, I'm glad they finally Series X footage, something that people complain about, right? Was that PC or at least we know it was console footage.
They did say console, yes.
Yeah, and I think that's great because that's what people have been asking for. Did I think it looked a bit softer, perhaps, than the previous trailers? Yeah, I did notice that. Mm-hmm. Was it a real downgrade? Maybe, but this also isn't final code, right? There's still room to fix some stuff up here potentially. I'm super pumped for this. I loved Hellblade. That was one of my favorite games I've played. I've played through it 3 times, I think. Really enjoyed it. Some people complain, oh, the combat's too simplistic. Or no problem with the combat. Maybe, again, I'm old, so it has to be simple for me or I don't get it, I guess. But I loved it. And I love what they showed too. Would I like to see some combat? Yeah, maybe. But you know what? Doesn't hurt to be a little surprised too. And maybe they got something in store for us down the road. There's still a long time before it's out. You know what? They said early 2024, I think, if I'm not crazy. So what? There's 9 months to go.
Yeah,
a lot of time here, right? A lot of opportunities for more shows and more show and tells on that game. So, I'm fine with waiting. In fact, I'm almost fine just not even knowing. I'd like to see what it is and experience it firsthand. So Indeed. I really like some of the stuff they did, though. And that psychosis aspect of the voices moving around, like watching even just the trailer with the headset on, I love it. I can't wait.
Yeah,
really looking forward to it.
Titan, final thoughts on Hellblade? Not your cup of tea?
No. I do love it. I beat the first one. This is probably like my number, 3. Probably Fable number 1, Starfield 2. This is probably my number 3 game.
Mm-hmm.
This and Avowed.
Number 1.
This and Avowed are like right neck and neck for me. And after seeing what they showed of Avowed and after seeing what they showed more of Hellblade 2, I think Hellblade has definitely taken a leap ahead of Avowed as far as everything goes, hype and impressiveness and all that. And so she said that they've just finished their recordings and whatnot in that video. So did they give a release date? I don't remember on this one because I know they gave a
release
handful
date, just 2024 Game Pass day 1. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm guessing probably late 20. All right. probably late 2024, I'm guessing. So yeah, this will be their big game at the end of the year. Yeah, looked amazing. Let's just continue. You nailed it out of the park for me. I got no complaints on this game either. Like this is why people are really loving this Xbox showcase. Games like Hellblade 2, Fable, Star Wars Outlaws, even though that's multi-plat, still, part of the show. I'm kind of wondering why PlayStation didn't have Outlaws as a part of their show, just to make it even better,
Well, indeed. Yeah, Microsoft definitely pulled out the bank account and locked some stuff up for their show, which was very interesting. So let's move along. We got 2 more games to talk about. Forza Motorsport, the king of racers, is back, and it doesn't look like it's going to relinquish that title anytime soon. This game, and this is coming from a PlayStation guy who definitely loves Gran Turismo, and I love it on PSVR, but I'm going to say, from what I saw of Forza, this game looks like it is now the showcase piece, the racer to beat, back with incredible graphics. Again, if you are a track racer fan, Forza looks like it's going to be your jam. Of course, a lot of people really liking the Horizon series, which is fine. But I think, like I said, if you are a track racer, you are going to be in for a real treat with the new Forza Motorsport. It looked absolutely stunning. As Thimber says, the king of sim racers. It looks crazy. That's all I need to say. It's a day one for me. I love Forza. I always have, and this just blew my mind. The rendering here, the in-game footage of those cars, my God. Take it away, Mental 9R. You got your steering wheel ready to go, ready to...
I do, actually. I've got my Logitech, the G920, and with the shifter and the pedals and all that stuff, you bet. I used to be a huge racer fan. Like back in my early gaming days, it was all about flight sims and racers. Really love that stuff. Tailed off a bit now, but I do have all the gear, and I'll be hopping into this one for sure. It looked fantastic. Can't wait to play it, experience some of the new physics. They said it's more realistic than ever. I know even with like Forza 7, you feel the steering wheel and you're applying brake and adding fuel in the corners to get it straight. I'm down for some playtime for sure.
Hello, Jaguar Gaming Network. Good to see you in the chat. We got our good friend back from the dead hanging out with us as well, guys. Thank you all so much for the love and support for coming out for episode number 2 of the Gaming Fuse right here. Yeah, man, it's going to be dynamite. Titan Drago, are you planning on jumping back into Forza? It's been a few years, and boy, does it look like they've definitely put some polish on this sucker. And it comes out in October, day 1, Game Pass.
I mean, it is what it is. It is the champion, car PG that exists out there. It is number 1. It's been number 1 for how many years now? It's incredible that they're just able to consistently improve upon themselves and really push gaming forward graphically and with this fidelity. Like, this is incredible, and I preferred the kind of open world aspect of Horizon. I'm not too much of the, track racer myself, but you got to give credit where it's due. Say that again.
I say, I'm the opposite. I prefer the
Why do you suppose that is? Why do you prefer the track racer as opposed to the open worldness?
It's the competitive nature of it, I think. I've got a few friends that really like to sit down at Forza. One of my best friends I've known the guy over 40 years. He will go and he'll lay down a new record on a particular track with a particular car, and he'll let me know. And then 15 minutes later, I'm telling him, "Hey, beat your time. So there's a new one for you to shoot for." So
I can't stand that because I can never beat him. Like, there's a couple people in this gaming community what's the mod? Lethal Papa, man. Lethal Papa, he's done some pretty incredible things on Horizon. It's like, how the hell did you make that time, Lethal? And he's really good at it. I can respect that, but I'm just I guess I'm not as competitive. I'm not into it because I need to get good, apparently.
Forza 7, I was big on this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The Horizon series is just far more forgiving. It's easier to jump into and have a blast with your buddies again, but that's fine. Like I'm glad that they have 2 different games, and both of them know exactly what kind of audience they're going for. And in most cases, people that buy one usually buy the other. I've owned every single one of them that's come out. So I think they're both great, and they both have a place, and they're both very highly playable. But you got to love the fun nature and the sort of the semi-realistic and unrealistic part of Horizon series, right? Because it looks realistic, but obviously, like some of those environments and tracks, you'd never race those cars through. It's just impossible, right? But that's the fun part about those games, right? They're a little bit silly and campy, but the word is fun. It's right now it's Xbox version of Mario Kart where you can just get in with buddies and crash boards and do jumps and go do the Hot Wheels crap. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So you can lose hours in it and not feel. Track racers are a different breed, man. Like you got to get really good. You got to get really good with the tuning aspects, especially when you want to play on higher difficulty levels, because those avatars will or the drivatars, as we call them, will absolutely smoke you if you don't know how to race properly. So.
Someone helped me in the chat from what it was from, because I got this. It was a quote from a movie, and it's exactly what I am when it comes to racers, because, you got different racer groups and certain racer groups, they're really good at racing. But a person like me, I gotta race dirty. I gotta try and spin you out or something. I gotta do something because I don't have the racing skills as you do, right? And, some people get really pissed about that when they're trying to race and you bump into them or whatever, And it's like, it's like, why are you doing this? Like, because you're better than me. It was like, it's like it doesn't give me much of a reason to play fair, does it? Like who said that? What movie was that from? It was from something. If anyone, it was something about, that doesn't give me a very good reason to play fair, then, does it?
I know, it sounds like it could come from one of the Fast and Furious movies.
No, definitely not.
But the only line I can think about from those movies now is, "You're my family. You're familia."
No, it might have been like Han Solo or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I'm getting Han Solo vibes.
All right, Forza Motorsport, I think it's unanimous. It looks good. I'm sure it's going to play fantastic. The only thing we really don't know is like the exact depth, like how many cars and tracks. I don't think they announced anything like that as to what it's going to entail, but something tells me this is going to be the last Forza we're going to see for a while. Hence, there's no number. We've always stated that because it's not 8. Technically, it is 8, but this could be one of those GAS games now, like a games as a service where it just keeps adding content over time, and that might be one of the better ways to go. It's a way to minimize the cost and the time in development. If you've got lots of cars and tracks to begin with, you're set up for a good one. But anyway, let's finish out the show with talking about the game that everybody knew was coming. We knew it was here. This was no surprise, but I think a lot of people, after the reactions I've seen, were surprised with how good this game looks, the amazing amount of depth it has. Starfield looks like it's going to be an absolute time suck when it comes out. It's expensive as all heck. It definitely looks a lot better from its older renditions. But let's get right into it, and let's try to stay on point with this one, and then we'll get ready to kind of close the show with our final notes, and of course bring in Mr. Handy Andy. I know people are waiting for his second appearance. Who wants to start on this one first? Starfield, where are we at with this? Mental?
I thought it looked great. The 30 versus 60 controversy aside, I know people were upset over some of the things that they saw or didn't see, but I mean, ultimately, I think the game looks fantastic. There's still a little bit of time. I wouldn't be surprised if down the road there is a performance mode.
Right.
I've got my own theories as to why it may launch at 30 FPS, just like some of the more recent titles that we've seen come out at 30, and they take a little while, 6 months or whatever, and then you get your patch.
What is that theory?
Most of these game engines that devs are working with have their foundation in DirectX 11. Sure, they've been patched, for graphic fidelity that comes with DirectX 12. You'll see, DirectX 12 features, ray tracing, all of that stuff. The problem is, in the DirectX 11 era, you had the vast majority of PCs that were out there that were playing with 4 cores. You know, you either had a 2-thread, or 4 threads, let's say. You either had a dual core with, you know, the SMT running to give you 4 threads, or you had a quad core was the most common processor that was out there. So most of these games will only leverage 4 threads. Plague Tale Requiem was a perfect example of that. That's why it was stuck at 30 FPS, because it was barely touching the CPU, and the GPU starve for data. It just can't feed the pipeline fast enough.
Right.
So you're locked in at 30, that's it. And guaranteed the GPU is sitting there idle a whole bunch of the time. And no matter what you do, you can't, like, FSR does nothing in that scenario. No amount of, you know, turning down settings will do anything when you have a CPU bottleneck. So it takes them a little while, they get the game out, then they spend some time in the engine, they tweak it, and eventually now Plague Tale uses 16 threads. That's why it's pushing 60 FPS no problem. And on PC, you see a massive difference. My frame rate more than doubled. I can max out at, 144 FPS now. My refresh rate on my monitor, no problem. When the game first came out, I was stuck right around 85 frames per second. Didn't matter what I set the resolution to. Didn't matter what I did as far as, turning on FSR or whatever else. Just didn't matter. And it's a clear example of a CPU bottleneck. And I think that's the issue with most of them.
Brings it up in the chat, and this is pretty much what Todd Howard stated in his thing. It's like 60 would be great, sure, but it comes down to the scope and scale of this game, which is pushing things extremely hard with the vastness of it. And I'm not trying to make excuses here, but
yeah, exactly. That's my point. Here's the thing: like that is the key words here are developer choice. It is their choice to do this. I thought for sure this last delay was to give them mental R, like you were talking, that extra time they needed to scope it out, to scope out what they're working with, and to allow, and eventually to get to 60 frames, no problem. And
they did improve the graphics. I don't know if you saw side by sides, but the graphics have improved since the original stuff that we saw.
That's the thing, minuscule to me. Minuscule.
Once they get the CPU working hard, then things like turning the graphics down, setting it to 1080p or whatever, using techniques like mesh shading and VRS, all those different things will start to help. But if your CPU bottlenecked, you're screwed anyway. None of that matters.
The thing is, mental, and maybe you'll help me understand more about this, because they're using their own Creation 2 engine. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of given that a lot less about someone that it's not a public engine for everyone. It's their own engine. No one else uses it. So they're like the only ones that know the ins and outs of their own engine. And like there's got to be a lot of similarities to many other engines out there. But I struggle with this and with like Halo, like when they created their own engine, and that engine's just fucking Slipspace is just gotta be just a plain fact piece of shit compared to other engines. Like I just don't understand why they don't go with
Titan. Would you rather play the game? Would you rather play the game if it's locked 30 and it's fairly stable and steady than having it hit that 60 or even above, and then constantly like hitting certain areas and then it lags to 40 or it gets to 20 and then it's back to 40.
Well, there's other good question. There's other tools for that, right? What was it? VRS, right? Is VRS?
Yeah, the problem is though, like depending on the physics load and whatever they're trying to do, maybe it's using 16 threads and 30 is the best they can do with the vision they have for the game. It comes down to, do we want them to change that vision and maybe reduce the physics and some of the interactions that you can actually do within the game in order to free up cycles to push the graphics harder?
I'm glad you said that, because are we seeing a ton of physics from what they've shown? I'm not.
Well, we don't know, right?
I'm not seeing a lot of extra anything, and I don't think there's stuff they're hiding.
This is why I think it's a bottleneck, because of threading capabilities, right? And I have a feeling that that's just something where when you're under the gun, there's a ton to do in a game when you're developing it, and that's one of the things they probably look at and think, we can tweak this later.
That's what I really hope is going on, because my main question with this is, why not a performance mode? Like, and would that answer kind of suffice for that? Like, maybe they didn't have the time, and maybe they didn't flesh out their own engine.
Well, would
that be an answer to that question?
I think they hear the community, obviously, and I'm pretty sure Phil's addressed it with them as well.
I guarantee
But they never. The good thing is they never did come out and say from the start that we're planning to run this at 60. So in all fairness, you can't shoot them if they basically didn't promise something and we're not getting it. Like, this is not so well. We're
I can shoot them, and this is why. There's that fucking I posted it all over Twitter. It's that fucking Aaron Greenberg post from 2020, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, he's the marketing guy. This is not.
So like he and Phil work very fucking close together, and that's what pisses me off here.
This is the kind of stuff you want to hear from Jason Ronald, not from Aaron Greenberg.
Believe me, I'm not defending 30 FPS. I think it's ridiculous, right? Like, ultimately, it should have a performance mode, period. 12 teraflops is enough to drive a game like that, assuming you're feeding it the data it needs to get. Again, that's why I think it's a CPU bottleneck. And, did they say there's not going to be a performance mode? Did they come out and explicitly say that? I didn't hear that. If they did, I missed it. So there's a lot of assumptions being made because it's clear the trailer and the stuff we saw was 30 FPS. I mean, you can see that. There's still several months to go. Maybe that's a launch day thing where they go, well, and good news, we got this ready. Or maybe it's like, sorry, we don't have it ready, but we've got a target. It's going to be ready 2 months from now.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. They're at the point now where they just want to finish the game, make sure that it runs stable. And then as they go through the next couple of months and the players actually get their hands on it and they have millions of players playing it and they bug test about a bunch of things and see where the problem areas are in the game, then I think they're going to come back and say, okay, well, this is a possibility now. We know where the CPUs are being taxed or the GPU, whatever, you know what I mean? And then they'll I wouldn't rule it out, put it that way, because people want it and the fans are willing to take it at 1080p if it hits the 60, so.
Well, and plus they can only internally test it so much, right? Like you really find a lot out about a game when it gets released to the masses. You cannot find everything in internal testing, especially with a game. Like, that's where the scope of this game actually comes into play. A lot of people are using, it's the scope of the game. It can't hit 60. That's just not fucking true at all.
Microsoft can't afford, though, for Starfield to slip a date again. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is kind of like the Redfall scenario where at some point you have to get it out the door and you have to let it go because they got stockholders, they got shares, they got to make some money. They can't keep feeding money and not getting something. So I think they're willing to take the risk. The game looks good enough to like 90% of the public, and we all know nobody's defending the 30. Nobody, we do have the Series X here, which should be able to push things pretty well. So we understand what you're saying, and you're not in the only boat, Titan, on this one. A lot of us feel the same. We'd all rather that option at least, but I think that's where they're at is they want to get it out. They want to make sure that above all else the game runs well. We know how they're often referred to as Bugthesda. So the last thing they need is Bugthesda trying to run 60 frames and it's basically just absolutely crashing this game. I mean, the thing is massive. You have to admit that, look, what you saw in the deep dive, like, everybody was like, this game might be the most expensive space RPG in the history of gaming. It is that crazy, It was like I went from being like semi-hyped to like, holy mother of God. Now, like Mooch called me out and said, Noof, you'll never probably play it till the finish. And you know what I said, Mooch, you're probably right. But regardless, I'm super excited. I'm going to buy it day one and I'm going to play it till I get sick of it or whatever else. But damn, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna have to. One of the ones I saw brought up a lot was, whoa, No Man's Sky does 60, and it has a quadrillion planets or whatever. But yeah, that's it, right? I mean, they're on completely different level in terms of gameplay. At least, no, I can't say I've played No Man's Sky
on the
lately,
Switch,
but
that's all you need to know. If you can run it on Switch, Starfield would never run on Switch.
No, the complexity level, you can be guaranteed a lot of the stuff that they're considering in Starfield, even with their grav drive or whatever they called it, all those things come into play here, right? It's all cycles taken away from the CPU that I just don't think is happening in No Man's Sky. I'll have to give No Man's Sky, I'll spin it up on my PC. I've got the PC copy somewhere. see how it plays. But the last I saw of it, it looked pretty simplistic in comparison. So.
Last thought, I guess, is were you happy with the deep dive, though? I mean, obviously that was like 30 to 40 minutes long. We got to see an extensive look at the game, the interiors, the exteriors, the planets, the shipbuilding, the customization. It was insane. It was a lot to take in. Sure, these guys don't make the best looking characters in any game. They're not terrible, though. They're certain. This is without a doubt, in my mind, the best looking Bethesda game we've ever seen. Right? Is it still as good as perhaps some other developers? Maybe not, but it's definitely their best work, and you can definitely see where the extra time and money have gone into this game, sort of thing. So, yeah, what do you guys think overall of the deep dive?
Thimber, I got a problem with what you're saying there, Thimber, because that's pushing out false information. Okay, you said that running 60 FPS was never an option. It is a developer choice. Obviously an option. The developer, Bethesda, is choosing not to because of what they said, the sacrifices that they would have to make to the game. And they didn't want to make those sacrifices. So that proves your point wrong, plain and simple. 60 FPS was an option and will always be
and
an
might
option.
Still be, right? It may still come, absolutely. Right? Like, until they say, no, it'll never be 60 FPS, there's an option there. Potentially down the road. So I will not be at all surprised to see it eventually be there.
And thank God freaking we got this guy, because he's fucking calming me down and I need that. Let me tell you, this beer ain't doing it for me.
Ryan Galloway, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you in the chat. Long time no see. We got to hang out sometime soon, my brother. Yes, and everybody that's here, Splendifer, Sparhawk, Giant 907, Timothy Dixon, Spider-Man, the list goes on. Everybody that's been here tonight. Luis Fian, good to see you here as well. Axel's main squeeze. Amazing people, amazing support. Thank you guys so much for that. We all appreciate it. We certainly hope that you're enjoying the take from our new panel member, Mental 9R. Good to have him here. Like I said, this has been a rocking show. We're going to clue things up here, I guess. We'll come back and probably talk about this a little bit more next week as as things progress. But let's kind of just cap up the show in a nutshell, and we'll start again with our new panel member, Mental 9R. Top 3 games from the list we talked about today, and perhaps your biggest surprise and biggest letdown from the show.
Number 1 is Hellblade. I'm going to go first party here only for the top 3 here, and then Starfield, a very close second, and then my surprise of the show was the In Exile Clockwork Revolution. That's my number 3, and then I've got honorable mention for both Avowed and Fable. They're like right in there, but you guys made me pick 3, so I did. But
it's like there's like that one sports show. Can I get one more? You got one more?
Yeah, exactly. And then my non-first party, Cyberpunk, hands down. That might be my favorite of the show, truth be known. Like, I'm really stoked for that. And then Still Wakes the Deep. That was my other big surprise from the non-first party. So, yeah. Overall, I'd give the show an A, maybe A-, but A for sure.
All right, there you go, guys. You have it from Mental 9R. He's given it at least an A-. In the chat, let me know where you score the show. What were your favorite games or least favorite of the show? And let's get over to Titan. Titan, top 3, my friend. Biggest surprise, biggest disappointment.
I kind of did those while we were doing it, but
you kind of did, but let's reiterate them.
My favorite, Fable, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 and 3 are close between Senua's and Starfield. Starfield took a hit with that 30 FPS though, because I did say that was one of my requirements for the show to be a 10. I gave the show an 8.9. I saw most people gave it a 90 or above, which is awesome to see, but there was just so much missing from the show, which is weird to say because they did show us so much, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't take too much away from it. I mean, 89 is still a fantastic score. I thought it was better than last year's, not quite as good as the one 2 years ago. I did enjoy the one they did 2 years ago. And I did enjoy the mixture of like trailers and teasers, this and that. Like I love that they just like mentioned Fable, like, and it was way out. I love that. And now 2 years later, we get a much more in-depth look. I think that's either way you slice it, Xbox knows what they're doing with these showcases, and they've shown it 3 years in a row now. Like 8 to 10s, you're not, you can't complain about that, right? Did this, I had 3 takeaways from the PlayStation showcase, and I got, I don't know how many takeaways from this showcase. So they definitely just knocked it out of the park, positives all the way around. I just had that one Starfield 30 FPS really bite me on the rear, like kind of spoiling my high or whatever you want to say, harshen my buzz. But Star Wars Outlaws up there, that was probably my number one surprise of the show. And that just blew me away top to bottom. What was your last question? I don't think I answered one of them.
Biggest disappointment?
Biggest disappointment. The 30 FPS Starfield. That was definitely no.
He's going to die on that hill.
I'm dead already on that hill, man. People have killed me on it. I'm dead.
All right.
You bring up a good point with the Sony show, though. Like, I tried to ignore that whole thing because I thought it was pretty bad myself. But Sony has to be sweating. If that was their best foot forward, it's not even close.
Yeah, let's just compare, right? And granted, like they showed a lot of multi-plat. Xbox showed a decent amount of multi-plat, but the things that are first party that Xbox showed, you just can't compare the two.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I think Xbox had an answer a little bit to the whole Square Enix debacle where they're constantly pulling the Final Fantasies out for Sony. Well, Sega and Microsoft, kind of went all in with the Personas. It's not very often you see those games shown off on an Xbox platform first and prominent. That's the kind of stuff you expect on the Sony shows, but here we are, right? So, not to mention some of the Capcom stuff. I'll get to that in a second. To wrap it up on my final thoughts, I'll start with
second, Nuke. Can I cut you off real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Palace Ray said 9 out of 10. If they showed Gears, I would have given it a 10. So I just want to go through my list of things that I noticed that weren't there because that's something I didn't get to. And then I probably push mine up to a 9 if maybe a couple of these were on there because I got a couple of them. Contraband being number 1. That was one of my things for the show to be a 10 that I said should be on here. If it's a 10 and we didn't get anything, I was wholeheartedly expecting something from Contraband. So no Contraband, no Halo, anything. And I know they did a season 4 update show or whatever, but nothing from the BR from that. So that kind of let me down. No Perfect Dark, no State of Decay 3, no Gears, no Stalker 2, no Everwild. And actually, I gave it points for leaving Everwild out, which is strange because I have no interest in that game whatsoever. But those were the main.
Nobody's gonna have interest in it if they never talk about it. That's the problem, right? It's starting to turn into like Scalebound over here. You know what I mean?
Another good thing I'm glad they didn't mention.
Yeah, no doubt, right? No doubt.
Scalebound's coming back.
Oh no! Get him off the show! He ruined it.
Scalebound right now. I'm gonna go up and jump on the scales and see how fat I am. Okay, real quick. Like I said, number 3 for me, I'm gonna have to say was Starfield, right? Because I went from being moderately hyped to like, holy hell, it's day one, I'm going to buy a physical edition. I'm not going all out on that collector's edition. I would love to have it, but that damn thing is really expensive, at least for us Canadians. Mental can tell you that. Our dollar kind of sucks, and we really get slammed up here. So I'm going to have to avoid that one. I may pick up the controller, but
how much is it?
I think in Canada, I think it's coming in at like $4.99 or $5.99. Like when you start talking about special editions in the console territory price range, it's like, I'm out. Yeah, the watch is cool and all, but that watch better like keep my cholesterol and the whole 9 yards.
Cook you dinner.
Yeah, cook me dinner and stuff. Like, geez Louise. But then anyone who's getting it, I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, $2.99 in the States, so it's definitely going to be well into the $350, $400 for sure up here. Yeah,
you probably like $4.39.
I saw somebody posted at $5.99. I hope that's not right because that's craziness. Mind you, I did buy a PlayStation VR too, but but look, okay, I'm going to say Starfield was number 3, right? Because I was impressed, really enjoyed the deep dive. The 30 frames, yes, disappointing. I'm not here to defend it, but look, if it's consistent and the game is amazing, which I think it will be, I'm all for it. Second, we're going to have to go with obviously Hellblade, because it's one of my most anticipated titles, and I've been super stoked for it ever since we found out that Ninja Theory was being bought by Xbox. They're getting very close. I expect big things from this game. I mean, look what they did for the first one, and they did it in a short period of time. Now they got a bigger budget, bigger team, and it shows. The graphics looked amazing. The characters' animations off the chain looks amazing. Can't wait for that one. And obviously, number one was Fable. It was the game that I wanted to see the most. I think 90% of the Xbox fans wanted to see something from Fable. We finally did. We got some in-game. We got some cut, sort of the the scenes. It was funny. It was stylized. It was great. It was kind of almost everything we wanted and didn't expect all at the same time. So Fable definitely was the steal of the show for me, and they started with it, right? A couple of surprises. Obviously, the Series S getting the black edition and the bigger hard drive, which, thank God, you're listening to the fans, because that 512, man, was just brutal. I've
got something I could say about that, but yeah. Maybe it's
1 terabyte's not great either,
show.
But it's a start. And they did jump the price up a little bit. Kind of sucks, but I mean, at the same time, it's still in the affordable range. It gives people a great option and a very viable console heading into the fall. So that's good. And I think overall, like some surprises. I was really impressed with that game, the Path of the Goddess or whatever from Capcom, which is coming day one to Game Pass. That was awesome. So there was a lot of stuff here I really liked. Obviously Star Wars Outlaw was a surprise, but not so much a surprise that we were going to see a Star Wars game, but it was shown off early on an Xbox show. Was kind of my biggest. Was like, whoa, this is being shown off here, and it's a Ubisoft thing. So we got to see more of that gameplay today, and it looks incredible. It looks like a really good game. So that's my take on the whole show. I give it a 9 out of 10, hands down, easily one of the best shows that Xbox has had in the last 4 years overall, from start to finish. And it was very little lull. There was very little BS. We saw some gameplay. We saw some great cinematics. But like I said, I think they knocked it out of the park compared to some of their last few. Yeah, this was a good one.
So out of 100, you give it a 90, or is there a little bit more?
Out of 100, I give it at least a 90. I give this definitely an A, not an A+. Like I said, I would have liked to seen something from either the Indiana Jones or Perfect Dark would have pushed us right over the edge, or even if they said a Gears of War collection even. But I felt they're still holding back. They could have shown more, and I think they were very selective at what they did show. They showed the stuff that the fans kind of been known we were going to see or expected, and I think they're holding the rest closer to the vest, because we do have Gamescom coming up. You don't want to show the entire stake, because then the rest of the shows are going to kind of suck. So there's a lot of room for improvement, but I thought it was solid, man. You can't really complain about this one.
No, you got to be crazy if you're complaining about this show, to be honest. Especially given what we saw from not only just Sony, but the Keighley show too, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty freaking dry and boring. I had a hard time watching any of it, but I mean, for me, this was like probably ranks up there in terms of overall good vibes about Xbox. This is like the 2018 studio acquisition announcements for me. Like that was kind of like the holy crap, they're actually spending money now. The things are going to get better. And here we are, it's 5 years later. How long does it take to build games these days? And now we're starting to see some of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's finally catching up now.
Awesome.
Absolutely, man. Fucking fantastic. Love it.
All right. Chat's loving it as well. The positivity's been good, and it is nice to see Xbox fans smiling for a change regardless. So good impressions, good on Xbox. Wasn't perfect, but I think overall, like I said, it was a great step in the right direction, and the future is looking really good. My God, this September and October, prepare your time wallets. Maybe get the divorce papers ready in advance. It's going to be crazy this fall. And in 2024, I don't think we're going to step outside the house. Oh, my God, the shit's coming fast and crazy right now.
Yeah, we'll be wishing for breaks, that's for sure.
Yeah, like, oh, my God, it's a good thing most of these games are on Game Pass, because our wallets would be taking a Mike Tyson-like beating right now. Like, bam, bam.
You ain't lying.
Wow. It's not even calling you cheap, because you literally need, like, about $1,500 to even just make a dent in the game collection this fall. It's crazy. Thimber says, lucky he's still single. Absolutely, because you won't be able to afford Yeah, you'll have to put all your money in games. You won't be able to afford gas to go out and pick up a chick anyway.
Pick her up on that bicycle.
That's right. Get on that bicycle. Those electric e-bikes now, man. They're all the
rage.
Two-seater,
baby.
Those girls. Look at the size of my battery. Come on. All righty. So before we close the show, it is that time to bring in a very special guest. You may have met him last week, and for those of you not acquainted, he is coming in. I'm going to bring him on screen here very shortly. Let's just give me a second here. All righty. I'll be bouncing out. I'll be right back.
While he's doing that, chat, definitely start thinking of your questions for Handy Andy. Put them in there, and I'll try and knock them out while he's answering questions in front of the class, if we will. I don't know how long it takes you to get Handy Andy ready. I should have been more prepared. I got nothing prepared.
Background again. I can't even remember here.
Dude, me and my wife were watching Everybody Loves Raymond just like the other day, and like she's like, "You won the idiot award." He's like, "Well, I've got nothing prepared." Royal Bill, thanks for joining us, buddy. Good to see you. Tail end of the show, though. Jeez, what are you taking a nap or something? Or what's going on, Royal? Usually here much earlier than that, man. Kind of disappointed, not going to lie.
All right, we're going to bring him on screen here.
Jeez, oh Pete's, man. The chalkboard.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's episode number 2. Oh my god, I'm so excited. You know what? I'm sorry it took me so long to get on screen, but I mean, the problem was these guys were talking so fucking long that I fell asleep. So I'm finally here and I'm ready to go, and I can't wait to dive into all of these freaking games. You guys are freaking amazing. I mean, seriously, but what's up with the runtime? Nuka, when you told me I was going to be a member in this fucking podcast, you said, like, hey, maximum be like 60 to 75 minutes, and here we are, over 2 hours later. Every little stiffy that I got is now freaking gone, and I got to sit here and hang out with you stinky fucks. And we got this new guy on the panel. I don't even know what to think of him yet. He looks like Mike Mullis without hair, which is odd because his name is Mike. He sort of looks like Mr. Clean, but he's smarter. And then we got all the people in the chat over there. We got like fucking Jagballs Kukin and all these guys in the chat. And Royal Boyle, what's going on, you motherfucker? We're going to get you on as a guest. Doggy Dog is clogging up the shitter. What is going on, people? Anyway.
We also got to get Cyber Gunter here on as a guest sometime, too, man.
Cyber Gunter. We got to get Cyber. We got to get, like, the gang together. Like, it's a little posse up in here. Yeah. And besides, someone else can stick their hand up my ass for a change. What do you think? What do you think, guys? Eh? You like my outfit?
Not it. Sorry, mental.
Anyway. So let me give me your thoughts. Like, seriously, that Xbox show was pretty damn freaking cool. But I didn't see, like, where is Conquer? Where's Banjo? Where's some of those cool games? I mean, we saw like a bunch of weird shit. Like, there's a lot of like, I don't know, like weird stuff, like this Persona weird ass crap. You know what I mean? Like all that sort of shit. Yeah, I wanted to see more cool stuff. I mean, there was no Halo. There was no Gears. You know? Like, where is that kind of stuff? I mean, there was no porn. I didn't see any titties. I mean, you know, come on, like, be a little bit risky once in a while. Show some shit off, you know?
I don't know. I think they were pretty risky, Andy, with the face of that Fable main character, man.
Oh, my God. She looked like... She looks like she looks like she goes searching for clams, like, every day of the week. She is a bona fide clam digger. She's gonna be like hanging out with Aloy, okay? Swear to God, what is up with these characters? I mean, come on. I mean, back when I grew up, heck, even Tomb Raider from 1996 looks sexier than these fucking things. She at least had pointy tits. They have no tits now. There's no tits. Come on. You're talking about diversity, but where's the fat chicks in games with the big chachungas? You know? I don't see any of them.
Please give me questions in the chat.
Yes, please.
Weird people, you guys got a question? Because I can't stay much longer. It's almost past my bedtime, and Noof Nookem's hand up my ass is starting to hurt. Come on.
All right, so Handy, so I need you to rate her 1 to 10, looks wise. Give me 1 to 10.
Rate that girl from Fable?
And would you?
Oh, God. Probably if I'm drunk or I took off my glasses. I can't see shit without my glasses. Honestly, if I got to give her a rating, the trailer was awesome. The girl, not so much. I'm going to give her like a 3. She's barely passable. I'd stick my finger in, probably sniff it, and be like, "Yeah, I'm done with that shit." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she's a finger licker. That's about it.
A finger licker.
She's a finger licker. She's like Kentucky Fried Woman. You know what I mean? You stick it in once and you're done. Oh, dear.
Mental's immediately regretting his decision.
Did I just ban this podcast? Did I get everybody kicked out? I think I see the resignation letter coming in from Mental 9. Like, I am done with these guys. What the hell? I mean, I dated girls who had bush just like my hairdo.
Andy, are those the same clothes you wore as last week?
Anyway, guys, I'm just about done. This show is well over time, but was there any more?
Cyber said, Andy, brush your teeth. Doggy said, hey, Andy, when is the last time you brushed them teeth? A lot of, my goodness.
A lot of comments about the teeth.
Yeah,
I think they're just,
my teeth are yellow. Like, I mean, come on, everybody's got imperfections. I mean,
they're just worried about your health. Teeth. You know, you can get some serious, some serious illnesses by
look, I'm sorry, but I've got a couple of itises. I've got gingivitis and I got arthritis, okay? So cut me some slack.
Sparhawk says Alloy or Fable Girl. Fable Girl.
Oh, it's gonna be Aloy. You know, cause she gets my bow and arrow pointed in the right direction. You know, Aloy, well, I guess they both have things in common. Aloy takes down giant robotic creatures that are like 100 feet tall. And this girl in Fable, she takes down like that nerdy guy with the glasses who's like probably 100 feet tall. So they're both good at killing some big bitches.
Oh, Slinky, I get that. That's dirty, though. Is Andy related to Boom? Like, because Boom's got the short hair.
I have no relation to Boomstick, but it's oddly weird that apparently people say there's a resemblance.
Bit of a mohawk.
Like, yeah. Oh, God. Anyway, guys, I had fun. Thanks for coming out. This is a great show. See you in episode 3.
Andy.
Some weeks I might have to take a break. Well, let's see how Sam or Cletus or Arnold take over. It can't just be me. Yeah, but anyway, this is a good show. You guys are fucking fantastic. Thank you.
Bye, Andy. Have a good sleep.
All right, guys. There you go. Handy Andy for you. We're live in the flesh. Wow. He's a firecracker, that guy. Unbelievable. But anyway, we're going to close the show. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Yes, we ran a little over time, but I'm not really surprised. It is our second show, and obviously we had a lot of games and stuff to talk about with, with the Xbox showcase. And heck, that's only just one part of it all. So, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. You guys are amazing. One of the best chats out there. Slinky M, what's going on, guys? Talos Ray, the list goes on. Doggy Dog, Timothy Dixon, Jago Kukin, Tip Top Dalton. We had Joe Dunmore up in here earlier tonight. You guys are amazing. Like I said, can't appreciate our chat enough. And thank God the chat doesn't move as fast as it did for the Xbox showcase. Oh, my Lord. We couldn't even read out the comments. Like, it was only that crazy. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you back here again next Tuesday. I'll let every these guys get out of here. Mental 9R. Let people know where they can find you if this is your last time and you're going back into hibernation after that debacle. But take it away, my friend. I'm glad to have you here. We hope you enjoyed your time on the show.
Yeah, you can find me at Mental 9R on Twitter. That's about as simple as it gets. I'm looking at working on a few things with YouTube, but it'll be a little while still before I crank anything out there as far as videos. A little bit of tech stuff I've worked on. maybe an expansion solution, storage expansion solution for folks that isn't too difficult to do on your own, and ends up saving you a few bucks in the process. So
that's
wow,
on that video now.
That would be awesome.
Hell yeah!
Like I said, he keeps it short and sweet with no yellow teeth. There you go. Hopefully see him back here next week. And for those of you who would like to be a guest on the show, just send me a DM sometime, and hopefully we'll squeeze you in here. We got some room. We got at least room for 3 before old StreamYard decides they want to charge me money. So we got Titan Drago. Brother, let people know where they can catch up with you.
Everything at Titan Drago, everybody. YouTube. Friggin', I haven't put anything out there in forever. I got to get off my rear. I plan to, like, when I retire, kind of do things like that, but that won't be for probably a couple of years at least. So I got to bring back the Common Sense Award winner every show, you know, and my Common Sense Award winner for this show is the new man himself, Mental 9R. I mean, let's all give the dude a follow on Twitter. Because if you can calm me down with facts and, you know, data and personal experience, you know, I'm glad we got you on the show, man. I hope you join us every week if you can. And if you can't, then you're definitely welcome back here.
We had a great time, guys. Go with a couple of hotheads, right?
Absolutely.
I had a great time.
Absolutely. When I learned something from you, and I got to let you know, you brought the common back to sense.
All
right, man. Thank you.
And guys, you know where to find me when I'm not hanging out here with these amazing cats. I'm back here next week for another episode, our 3rd of the Game Fuse. You will catch me on Thursday nights with KY Bob and Company on a podcast that is called Game Set Live that goes down at 9 p.m. Eastern. Same time as this one on a Thursday night. You can catch me hanging out there with him and a bunch of other wonderful people. Again, thank you all so much for the love and support. We will see you again next time. Again, for the super chats, you guys appreciate it. Not required, but always appreciated. Maybe with all the super chats, I can finally get a PC that can run this shit half sensible. In the meantime, you guys are fantastic. We'll see you next week. Take care. Peace out. And I promise you the 3rd episode will be much quicker on the point. We'll get back to it. But anyway, take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Ciao, folks.